Zach.
Ed.
I've got some, I got to play something right out the gate.
Listen, I love doing this kind of stuff for people and giving them feedback. Says, I know y'all are busy with your own bleep, but can we get some feedback on our podcast from two guys who started from the bottom? Two wannabe athletes talk sports, Zach and Ed. We're on Spotify. Send me an email. I promise at some point I'll get to it. Right now,
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of y'all who don't recognize that voice, that is Fred Fowler from ESPN Houston, 92.5 and 97.5. Is that right?
Yep, 97.5.
They are on the afternoon show that starts at 4 called The Blitz, him and AJ Hoffman. Great show, huge motivators to us to actually get this podcast rolling. And Zach went ahead and dropped his nuts yesterday, decided, I'm going to shoot my shot.
Yep.
He go ahead and tell the story, man. This is your story.
Yeah, no, I got in the car yesterday. I was going to get dinner for the family. I was listening to them there on the radio. It's kind of what I always do, listen to them when there's, usually when there's no kids in the car. And they were out on location kind of drinking a little bit. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to send them a text, see what happens. So I sent them a text at like 6:29. And at 6:32, I heard him talking about our podcast on the radio. It was like catnip for clones, man. It was fucking awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've made it.
Well, we got mentioned on live radio.
We got mentioned, awesome. So it's a huge step. Not only were they a motivation, but huge shout out to the support from the fans. We posted this on our social media accounts and got nothing but love back. So shout out to y'all. We love doing this. We're super happy that y'all like what we're doing. And you know what? We're 21 episodes in right now. This is episode 21. So we must be doing something right.
It's draft day, baby.
You know what? Let's end the introduction and let's get going. You ready?
Oh, let's do it.
Hit it.
Woo!
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Two Wannabe Athletes Talk Sports. I am Ed.
I'm Zach.
Here we are. The day has finally come. Baby. It is draft day in the NFL.
Buddy.
Woo! Even though I think this is a mediocre draft, I am glad it's finally here. I can't wait for it to be over with. We mentioned in the previous episodes, we are going to be doing live tweets and mentions on Facebook about what's going on, our opinions whatsoever. If you disagree with us, if you agree, whatever, argue with us. Let us know how you're feeling about each draft pick as they come up.
Also later on today on Facebook, I'm going to post my mock draft finally. I made it, I don't know, probably 2 weeks ago, but I'm not changing it. I'm just going to stick with the one. We'll see what happens.
Over under on how many you get right?
I feel solid about 6.5.
I know some Vegas books have over under 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to go under on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge number, but I mean, I've heard people on TV today saying that they wouldn't be surprised if 5 quarterbacks went with the first 5 picks.
And that's never been done, I think, in the history of the NFL draft.
Yeah, it would be that would be record breaking. Obviously, it would take some trades to get all 5 quarterbacks taken in the top 5 picks, but I mean, New England is hitting everybody up, trying to move into the top 10. There was another. The Saints this morning, they're talking about moving into the top 10, and they're not ashamed to say that they're going for a quarterback. So we'll see. The rumor has it that the trade piece that New England is throwing around is Stephon Gilmore.
Yes, his name has come up
to the top 10
so much.
For the former defensive player of the year, man.
Right. I think, of course, he's going to benefit, make any team that much better on defense with him.
For sure.
There's no slack in that dude's game.
You almost just forget about one half of the field because he's that good.
One team that we haven't really talked about moving up, and I'm surprised we haven't, but rumor came out yesterday is that they're possibly aiming for the number 2 or number 4 pick, and that's Chicago.
Wow.
Chicago, they tried for Russell Wilson this offseason and crashed and burned on that. And apparently they was giving everything to try to get Russell Wilson. And I believe they've tried to do the same with trying to get Desean Watson, and no bite on that. So they might be throwing these big offers to the Jets or Atlanta and try to score them another quarterback, even though they got Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Andy Dalton gets anybody's panties moist there, because that's just Andy Dalton's had a shot. He had playmakers around him. He made the playoffs a couple times, but making the playoffs and actually making a run in the playoffs are two different things. He's never done that. So I'm shocked that we never talked about the Bears' possibility of moving up. I mean, we've seen them do it before. They did it for Mitchell Trubisky.
Yep.
So, I mean, and then, it makes sense because they're trying to acquire Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson. So why wouldn't they move up to get a Justin Fields? I'm thinking they're probably targeting the number 4 pick. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if after the 3rd pick is taken, if it turns out to be Mac Jones or Trey Lance, I guarantee Atlanta trades out of the number 4 spot, and whoever gets into number 4 drafts Justin Fields.
I think with them sitting at 20 and the weapons that they have available for trade, I think Chicago is in a good position to where they can trade all the way up within the top 5. We could be seeing Khalil Mack leave Chicago and go to one of those other teams. Now, if they make a trade with San Francisco, which I didn't mention number 3 because I don't see that happening because of what they did to get up to number 3. But just imagine if Khalil Mack went to San Francisco.
Ooh.
With that defense they have already with Nick Bosa, that would be a scary team. But that's not going to happen. I can see him going to the Jets. I can see him going to Atlanta. Right. Now, granted, Khalil Mack is not going to be the icing on the cake to make that trade happen. Of course, they're going to go ahead and swap picks and probably give up next year's first round. I don't know, man. Chicago just seems very hungry to where they want to get into a Super Bowl and win. So I could see them doing something drastic to where they have to win this year and they're going to give up everything they can.
I mean, I don't think they're too far off either. I mean, we saw this team.
A hard division.
Well, but I mean, we saw this team towards the end of the stretch, or down the end of the season, they were winning games with Mitchell Trubisky.
Right.
I mean, he actually was a little bit mobile. He looked pretty good in the pocket. I mean, he was making some decent throws, but the team is pretty good. They've got playmakers in the right spots. They still have, oh my God, now the wide receiver slipped my name. Allen Robinson. Thank you. They still have Allen Robinson. He could have gone other places and he re-signed there. Now, he didn't really want to. He's on a franchise tag, so that's kind of a...
I still don't understand his decision on that whenever Trubisky didn't stay and they didn't get Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson. They stuck with Nick Foles and they picked up Andy Dalton. If you're Allen Robinson, and I believe we mentioned this before, how are you just like, okay, I'll go ahead and sign this tag? It makes no sense.
I mean, the only thing that I can point to is that look at how many star wide receivers signed small, mediocre contracts.
True.
Right? So, I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster signed a 1-year deal for $8 million. I mean, that should tell you where that free agent market was. And, with a franchise tag, it's like it's the average salary of the top 5 at your position or something like that.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a pretty decent payday for 1 year. So sign 1 year, see what they do at the quarterback position, try to ball out. Maybe you get a contract somewhere else. I mean, that would be his 3rd team, right? So I don't really know how that works there. I mean, he's getting long in the tooth there for age for wide receiver.
That is true. And looking at Chicago's offense right now, Allen Robinson, like we mentioned, Marquise Goodwin is right behind him, backing him up. You got Anthony Miller, who I think is a good number 2, number 3. and then Daryl Mooney with
I like him.
Cole Kmet, who I think is a decent tight end. David Montgomery kind of stepped out from his rookie season, did a little bit better last year with Tarek Cohen right behind him. So they've got good weapons, and at the same time, I think they have people that they can go ahead and trade to get moved up.
I think you're right. I think they've got a lot of talent on offense. They do have a lot of talent on defense. They obviously have some holes. I mean, in the era of the salary cap, there's always going to be somebody that has to leave or somebody you can't afford. But I mean, Khalil Mack's pretty good cornerstone for a defense. So I mean, if you can build up the secondary, you're probably going to have a pretty good defense again.
Yep. I got in a little Twitter argument yesterday with some people because people put out their own mock drafts, and at number 5, everybody continues to say that the Bengals are going to take Jamar Chase. All of you who think that should happen, suck my nuts. That is by far the worst decision they can make. Trust me, I understand they need weapons over there, but they've got to protect. I feel like we just keep repeating ourselves on this. They've got to protect Joe Burrow. That kid is the future of that franchise. You put anybody around him who has hands, they'll catch the damn ball. He'll get it to him.
Right.
Protect that man.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of the back and forth. Basically, the conversation was, if you don't take a tackle at number 5, you're stupid. And their reply was, well, there's more than one round in the draft. Yeah, I got it. That's cool. So you want to take your franchise quarterback and you want to fix his offensive line with, like, you know, great value stuff? I mean, is that what we're doing? You want to buy the generic brand when you have
Family Dollar tackle.
Right, but you got Penei Sewell right there for the taking. Or Rashad Slater. You can take him too.
Yeah.
Both those guys, you just plug them in and play them, and you don't have to worry about that side of the offensive line. I don't understand the idea of, you know what, we're going to get an icing piece, but we don't have any cake to put it on. That makes absolutely no sense. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But that's what fan bases say. Now, granted, we're nobodies. We're just fans. We're just like you guys.
We didn't get a shout out on a radio station or anything.
No. Not at all. But use your brain, right? When you have an opportunity to draft an offensive lineman like this, you do it. The Broncos had I'm a Broncos fan, obviously, but the Broncos had a chance to draft the lineman that plays now for Indianapolis. I know his name is Quentin, but I can't remember his last name. But anyway, he's an interior guard. He plays left guard. The breakdown of him was, you plug him in at left guard and you forget about him, and then 12 years later you put him in the Hall of Fame. Well, here we are 5 years later and he's on his way. So, and who did the Broncos take? They took Bradley Chubb, which that's not a terrible pick. It's a great pick
when he's healthy.
But when he's healthy, he's a beast, but he is a complimentary pick, right? He's not a cornerstone of the defense type pick. He is somebody that is a pass rusher, right? He's like a luxury item. But the lineman, like we always say, now granted he plays defensive line, so whatever. That's what we always talk about as the foundation of your team. But your offensive line, if you don't protect your quarterback, you're not doing anything on offense. He's just on his back. And in a league where you're throwing the football, 35, 40 times a game, and you're running, 65, 70 offensive plays, it's kind of important to protect that guy. And I'm just shocked that even Cincinnati fans would say that they would rather have Jamar Chase. Look, Jamar Chase is a great wide receiver.
Yep.
Like his teammate, Jefferson, went off, had over 1,400 yards as a rookie. That's incredible. I think the only person ever done that as a rookie is Randy Moss. And they played on the same team. And then the same team they played on, Jamar Chase was better than Jefferson. So I get the appeal, but it's not all about flash.
Right.
Sometimes you got to draft the uglies so that you look good on the field.
But one of the problems I have with Jamar Chase is that we didn't get to see him in 2020, right?
And that's true
And
too.
I'm surprised that hasn't hurt his stock because they've kept him in the top 5 in almost every mock draft I've seen.
Yeah.
He has stayed in the top 5. So
well, he's always the number 1 wide receiver taken. You're right.
the experts are swearing by him, right? Now, I haven't looked or researched what kind of training, workouts, anything he did during 2020 to stay at the top of the list, right?
Yeah.
It's good. To me, that scares me. But I guess in this game, you've got to take risk. I don't know. If he goes, I want to say I see him dropping to 6.
Yeah, I mean, I think Miami is the last play. Like, unless Miami trades out of their pick, they will take Jamar Chase at number 6.
Absolutely.
That's where I'm at too.
So, breaking the norm, a majority of the time that we've talked about the draft, we've covered pretty much the first 10. Let's go ahead and go 11 through 20 right now.
Okay.
See what we think, who's going where, or even position. Because I'm piss poor when it comes to names for college players, and to all y'all listening, that's on my goal list this year is to do better on that. So, but at number 11, we've got the New York Giants. First off,
had to get my draft sheet there.
First off, do they stay there?
The Giants, yeah, I think so. Because I think of all the picks that are in front of them, they're going to end up getting the 3rd best wide receiver in the draft, Jalen Waddle at 11. That's what I see.
Yeah.
But that's, obviously my mock draft doesn't involve any trades or anything like that.
Okay.
So as long as there are no trades, which if there's a trade at 4, then, all hell breaks loose. But I have him picking Jalen Waddle. I think he is the 2nd best wide receiver in the draft.
Really?
But he's smaller than Devonta Smith. So people are giving Devonta Smith a hard time because he's little. Jalen Waddle's smaller, but he's more of a quick slot guy. And so I feel like that's going to help the Giants a lot more than an outside guy, because they have a couple outside guys that are pretty good.
So you think with them picking up Kenny Golladay and having Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton, they're still going to go with a wide receiver?
Yeah, because I don't think that Sterling Shepard is the guy that they drafted, like the guy that they thought he was. I think Jalen Waddle is going to be more dynamic in that spot.
So I think with them picking up Golladay and Darius Slayton continuing to get better each season, I think we're going into his 3rd season now.
Yes.
He is showing that they can take off. First off, Kenny Golladay being there is taking double teams off of Shepard and Slayton, right?
Yeah, but I just don't think that Sterling Shepard is the guy. I mean, I think he's just
he's a textbook number 3, and
right. But I think Jalen Waddle is an upgrade.
But you bring Jalen Waddle on there, that's somebody fighting Golladay for number 1.
I don't think so.
Maybe.
But I mean, then if you make that case, so you're going to draft a number 3 wide receiver in the 1st round, then you know what, that makes sense.
Right. I think New York's going defense. I think they're going to probably pick up a linebacker. Who's the top one?
Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I could see them snagging him if he falls to 11.
Yeah, then you know what? That's very possible. I just feel like Micah Parsons is going to go number 9 to the Broncos. So if that happens, I feel like they're just going to draft the best available player.
Side note, your Broncos fucked up everybody's mock drafts yesterday by trading for Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, could they still trade or could they still draft a quarterback? 100%. Are they going to? Probably not. So
if they draft a quarterback today, Drew Lock is looking for another team. Hands down.
And so that's what a lot of people are saying. A lot of people are saying that the acquisition of Teddy Bridgewater prior to the draft actually gives the Broncos more flexibility. And then that way they could package Drew Lock into a trade with another team that's looking for a quarterback but can't get high enough into the draft. And that way they can draft a rookie and then still have Teddy Bridgewater, who's only 28 years old, to be the veteran on the team, and he could start until the rookie is ready.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. I don't see that being what their route is. I think based on the familiarity that all these guys have with Teddy Bridgewater, because they all have history in Minnesota. The GM and Pat Shermer, the offensive coordinator, excuse me, they all have history with Teddy Bridgewater in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. I mean, they originally drafted him there, right? So I think they're bringing him in because he's familiar with all the pieces. He's familiar with the offense, and he can push Drew Lock to be a better quarterback. And then if Drew Lock isn't the guy, then they just abort and they draft another quarterback next year. I mean, it's right. That's just kind of what happened. Or Teddy Bridgewater starts and magically he figures it all out and he's able with all these offensive weapons to do something. I don't know. But I have always had them drafting Micah Parsons at number 9. Mm-hmm. I don't have them taking a quarterback. I don't think they'll take a quarterback. Me as a fan, I hope they don't take a quarterback. But I don't know. See, now we started talking about 11 through 20, and
you fell back to 9.
Well, yeah, we went back to 9 just because you were talking about Micah Parsons being drafted at 11. I think he'll be gone before then.
Yeah.
But at number 12, I have Kyle Pitts.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I think he'll fall past the top 10 only because I think it's too early to draft a wide receiver in the top 10. Now, if I was ever going to draft draft a tight end in the top 10, this would be the guy. He's got a huge wingspan. He's quick. He's big. He's too big for a linebacker. He's too fast for a linebacker. He's too big for a safety. I mean, this guy he's the man right now. And he wears number 84. So, I mean, that's pretty awesome. So, but I think that I guess the reason why I say Kyle Pitts gets number 12 is because I think Atlanta actually trades out of the top 10. And so if that happens, there'll be a quarterback taken at 4 and Atlanta will fall down to 15 probably.
So you think the Eagles are going to take Kyle Pitts?
Yeah.
If he falls that low, yes. That could change it to where the Giants could take him. If he falls out of the top 10.
Well, I don't think the Giants will take him because they still have
Evan Ingram. But
Evan Ingram.
Do you pass up Kyle Pitts though? Like,
I mean,
I don't know. Like the hype that everybody's giving this guy, and Mel Kiper coming out and saying in his 43 years he's never seen a tight end as perfect as Kyle Pitts, and we will never see one like him in the future. I mean, there's a lot of hype into this guy.
Yeah.
And if everything is true, for him to fall below 10 is somebody's screwing up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers fell to 31 or 29 or whatever.
Right, but was he an elite college quarterback?
Well, no, but what I'm saying is that we're talking about Kyle Pitts. Basically, he could go ahead and get fitted for his gold jacket.
Pretty much.
Well, but I mean, don't you think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, now we know how Aaron Rodgers is.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if we knew who Aaron Rodgers was going to be now,
mm-hmm.
and he fell to 29, right? Why wouldn't a tight end? And I guess what I'm saying is that's a quarterback.
Right.
A quarterback that was highly touted fell that far. This is a tight end. Tight ends are like luxury positions.
True.
So, I could see him falling that far. I mean, and 12 is not that far a fall from 4, especially for a tight end, especially when we've got this much hype around 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah. I want to say that Philly is happy with Dallas Goedert or however you pronounce his name.
Dallas Goedert. Yeah. Well, it's Goddard, isn't it?
Something like that. But also at the same time, I could see Philly trading up because we already know Zach Ertz wants out of there, and he is a very good trade piece to give up if they want to go up. Somebody who's always eyeballing tight ends is Dallas Cowboys. Now, if Jerry gets excited about Zach Ertz and wants to trade 10 to 12, he's an idiot on that part because you better be drafting some defense. But we all know Jerry's crazy.
And that's one of the trades that's been talked about a lot on TV is the Dallas Cowboys trading number 10 to the New England Patriots straight up for Stephon Gilmore. And so if that happens, Dallas just loses their first round pick. They get a Pro Bowl, all defensive player cornerback, and they don't need a draft pick.
I'm not mad about that.
No, I mean, if I was the Dallas Cowboys, I probably would make that trade. But the reason why I say that is because in my mock draft, I have them drafting J.C. Horn from South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's the best cornerback in this draft. And so if he's the best cornerback and you can get him at 10 and you don't really know how he's going to acclimate to the NFL, or you could trade your number 10 pick for Stephon Gilmore straight up and you already know how he plays in the NFL. I mean, that's not a bad trade, but I think Jerry Jones wants the tight end. He's been public saying that he really likes Kyle Pitts.
Right.
But I think and I hope the guys around him are not just yes men and saying, oh, yeah, we'll draft whatever you want. I hope that they look at what they actually need and they go after defensive players, because you plug in J.C. Horn on that defense, and to me, he's a shutdown corner, right? He's automatically going to be on the other team's number one best receiver. That makes the rest of the defense better. That makes your pass rush better, you know? And they have a pretty decent pass rush in Dallas. I mean, they also have holes at linebacker. So, you know, they could go for a linebacker there, which wouldn't surprise me. But I don't know. I have them drafting J.C. Horn. That's what I think. And so that's why I think Kyle Pitts falls to Philadelphia, because I really think the Eagles need a tight end.
I think their defense is more needed.
I agree.
So I see if he falls, which it's possible, the kid from Alabama, the cornerback, Surtain.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain. That's who I have Atlanta drafting.
I could see
I just
him.
think that number 4 is too high to draft him. So I imagine they're going to trade back.
Number 13, we got the Chargers.
I have them picking Slater, the left tackle from Northwestern.
Okay.
I feel like you've got your franchise quarterback. You know he can play. You want to protect him. Go ahead and get him a left tackle, and that way he doesn't have to worry about his blind side.
Yeah. I can go tackle on that. I know a couple of the drafts I've seen, they've got them drafting a wide receiver. I don't agree with that whatsoever with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams.
Yeah, I think Mike Williams is pretty damn good, but, you know, crazier things have happened.
I'll ride with you on that.
I just feel like when you have a quarterback like that, same thing in Cincinnati. You have a quarterback, you have a chance to draft a stud left tackle, take it.
Minnesota sitting at 14.
So I have them drafting Kwity Paye, the edge rusher.
Uh-huh.
The reason why is because I didn't see them drafting a quarterback.
No.
And so I felt like the next best position that they could use is a pass rush.
I 100% agree with you on that. Their offense is already stacked as it is with Justin Jefferson, as you mentioned earlier, and then Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook's a beast.
Right.
I mean,
and the best part is like Kirk Cousins is not an amazing quarterback. He just has great people around him to make him look good.
Well, and you know, he might not be great, but he did get a rookie 1,400 receiving.
That is true.
Now, granted, the rookie is off the charts good, so that's crazy. But I mean, it's Kirk Cousins. He looked really good last year.
They let go Kyle Rudolph, and Irv Smith Jr. Is taking the starting role as tight end. So I think he's going to do pretty good. Now, saying all that, again, if Kyle Pitts falls all the way to 15, if you're Minnesota, do you take him?
I mean,
14. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a 14. If I mean, they don't have Kyle Rudolph. I mean, I like Irv Smith. He's very athletic. I don't know about blocking. I haven't watched that much tape on him. I picked him up in our dynasty league because I really think that he's going to take a big step this year. So I think they like what they have, but it's hard to rule out a talent like this. This guy's unbelievable. Like, I watched film of him, and like the catch radius that he has is unbelievable. And his first 3 steps are like a wide receiver. Like, I saw him line up, one-on-one with cornerbacks, and he's making them look silly. So, I mean, I don't want to rule out Kyle Pitts going to any of these teams because I don't think you can. Like, I think he's that good. It's just like Justin Fields, right? If Justin Fields is available for any of these teams after the top 10, like, I can totally understand them drafting him. Even if they have an established quarterback, I totally understand it.
Sitting at 15 right now is the New England Patriots that we've talked about that are possibly going to trade up, but let's just stick to the script for the current moment and say that they stay at 15. They went balls to the wall this offseason on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
I'm just going to say they're taking a fucking kicker. I don't know, man, because
Bill Belichick won't do that. He'll end up just signing a kicker that nobody's heard
of. In all reality, I can't pinpoint what they're going to pick up here because of the fact that the writing is almost on the wall to where they're going to trade up, right? Where they trade up.
And I'm with you on that too. But I feel like if they stay and like no trades happen, I think they're going to draft the linebacker to Awuza. I don't know how to say his last name. Koromoa.
Okay.
He's my second ranked linebacker. I feel like they need linebackers just based on how their free agency and all that stuff went. But I'm trying to go back to my draft board here. Here we go. Sorry, bear with me. Okay, so he's a linebacker from Notre Dame. So they've seen a bunch of him. So I feel like that you plug that guy in, he's a 100 tackle guy. He plays middle linebacker. He's a leader on your defense. And I mean, it's a solid pick. It's not a flashy, like, oh man, that's cool to see who they drafted. It's just a guy that they're going to draft. He's going to buy into their ways and just be a stud, man.
I think with all the big moves that New England made, I could possibly see them beefing up their O-line. Give Cam a little bit more protection. That's if they stay at the 15 spot.
Right.
Give him a little bit more protection to where he can have time in the pocket. They've drafted wide receivers last year as well as running backs. They pick up. It seems like they pick a running back every year.
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't know the contract situation with the current O-line in New England, but if you have the kid from Texas that I've brought up before available,
he'll be, according to my draft, he'll be available.
A lot of the drafts I've seen him fall out of the first round. There's a kid from Oklahoma State, Tevin Jenkins. I see him going there, they may not even go tackle. They could go guard. I really don't know any of the guards' names, but I'm just saying we saw them beef up tight ends. They got Nelson Aguilar, which is not a great wide receiver, but still they've got Cam. I think Brian Hoyer's backing him up, so you don't see them getting a quarterback at 15 if one is available.
Yeah, I don't know what quarterback would be available at 15.
Unless you're getting Kellen Mond or the kid from Florida.
And I don't see that Kyle Trask. I don't see either of those guys getting drafted in the first round.
Right.
I have Samuel Cosme as my third ranked tackle.
Mm-hmm.
And I have him being drafted by Miami.
Okay. Second round.
No, in the first round, 18 overall. And then but then I have kind of like a run on tackles there. It's not a run, I guess it's like 3 in a row. With the football team taking Darrisaw, Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that guy's pretty athletic. But yeah, I could see them going offensive line. They have had some guys get hurt, some guys retire, some guys that opted out last season. So I'm not exactly sure how that all works out. But I mean, I feel like the safe pick is to just go with the linebacker. You know who he is. You know what he's going to contribute to the team, and you know he's not like a showy, mouthy type guy.
Right.
He's just going to buy in and be your middle linebacker. You know.
Number 16, we've got Arizona. Now, Arizona, they've lost some, they've won, they've got some. They picked up JJ. They lost Fitz. Did Fitz retire?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to make sure I was right on that. I don't know, man. They need help on both sides of the ball.
Well, so I feel like their biggest loss was Patrick Peterson.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're gonna draft Caleb Farley from Virginia Tech. I have him ranked as my number 1 cornerback, but he sat out last year, so it's kind of hard to grade him, correctly.
Right.
But I feel like they need help at cornerback. This guy you plug in, and I mean I think he ran the fastest combine 40. No, it wasn't combine. The fastest pro day 40 for any of the cornerbacks. So I mean, he's pretty good. I mean, I would like to have him on my team.
Yeah. I feel like they have to go defense on it, with them picking up JJ and losing Pat. They've got to beef it up. And they lost Hassan Reddick, their former first round.
Yeah, that's a big loss too.
It's a monster loss. And I said at the beginning when we covered them, they needed to keep that guy and they didn't do it. So
yeah. Well, I mean, but they got JJ. They still have what's the guy's name that got hurt? Oh my God, he tore like his pectoral muscle, and they're bringing him back. He's like the leader of their defense. What the hell is his name?
Come on, Zach. I know you know.
Oh my God. Anyway,
come on.
I don't remember his name. So
Chandler Jones.
There it is. I was gonna say Jones, but I wasn't sure. All right, so Chandler Jones got hurt last year, and that's who played for him was Rashad. So I thought that they might re-sign him and then let Chandler Jones go.
Mm-hmm.
But they really believe in Chandler Jones, even though he's a little older. So, yeah, I mean,
maybe they just couldn't get the numbers right as far as money. So,
well, I mean, he was due a big contract. He was a free agent. Excuse me. He was a free. Oh my God.
A fruit.
He was a free agent, so you couldn't really get him on a hometown deal because he's never been paid before.
Right.
So he went out and he got a contract and he got paid. I mean, it's just kind of what happens with these guys. So I don't blame Hassan Reddick for leaving, and I don't blame Arizona for not signing him because it would have cost them a ton of money.
True.
So, now because of that, though, you've got a bunch of holes on defense, and I think that's where they're going with this number 1 pick is Caleb Farley.
17, we got the Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, so the one thing that John Gruden has always talked about since they lost Khalil Mack was getting Khalil Mack. And I think this year they're going to get someone who's Khalil Mack light.
Okay.
Jason Owe from Penn State. He's an edge rusher. He likes to get after the quarterback. He's disciplined. He played with Micah Parsons. So, I mean, there was a pretty stout defense there at Penn State. I think this is a home run pick for them, man. I think this is a piece that pushes their defense over the top.
Defense is definitely needed in Las Vegas right now. Gruden trading away Khalil Mack right out the gate once he took the job was a shock to everybody. And
Right.
I'm pretty sure John Gruden was drunk or high whenever he made that choice. And when
think
recovered,
about what he's done with the team now since you know what I mean? Like I feel like us as fans, right? We were like, why the fuck would you trade him? Right? That's like the Rams trading Aaron Donald. And be like, what the hell? But the deal is that the Rams are a lot better team. They've been in the playoffs. They're making deep runs in the playoffs. They were in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. So they can afford to have a guy like that. The Raiders haven't smelled the playoffs in a few years.
right.
And so a guy like Khalil Mack, yeah, he's great, but he's a complementary piece. I mean, we've seen it before. J.J. Watt was the cornerstone of the Texans defense, and they went 4-12.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He won Defensive Player of the Year, and I think they went 2-14.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very possible for a guy like that to play perfectly almost. I mean, I would imagine if you won Defensive Player of the Year, you played pretty much fucking perfect. And if you're doing that and your team still isn't winning, then that's not a piece that your team needs until they're ready to win. And so I feel like he saw a good trade piece and he traded him away. And now the Raiders are actually in a playoff or in a spot where they can be contending for the playoffs.
But they also are in probably hands down one of the toughest divisions.
Well, yeah. I mean, Kansas City is just no slouch. They're just going to win
right.
the AFC
And if I remember correctly, they were one game away from going on the wild card this past season and shit the bed on it, right?
Yeah.
So, and maybe it is the defense that they need, right? I think the offense we've covered before is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
There are rumors though that the Raiders are somebody who's looking to trade for Desean Watson, which would put the Texans in at that spot in the first round. If they do that, then they're probably going to go defense after that. But for right now, staying on script, I'm going to stick with defense on it. If you say the edge rusher from Penn State, I'll ride with you on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. He fits what they're looking for. They've got pretty good linebackers. They've got a pretty decent secondary. They re-signed Carl Joseph, so that works out too. Obviously, Josh Jacobs on the other side of the ball is pretty good, so they don't need a running back. Darren Waller is an all-world tight end. He's probably number 3 or number 4 in the NFL.
Well, and they also picked up the running back from Arizona. Can't even think of his name right now.
The guy that they didn't sign? What?
I said, hi, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, it's the guy they didn't sign, right? The guy that came from Miami?
Yeah. Was it?
The guy that was on your team?
Yeah. Shows what I know. Whatever. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. They don't need a running back. So defense 100%.
They drafted wide receiver last year. John Gruden is really high on Derek Carr.
Kenyon Drake,
that's who it is.
Defense, definitely.
Yeah, so I feel like that's a defensive play there. I already mentioned it earlier, but at 18, I have Miami drafting Cosme from Texas. I feel like after they traded Laramie Tunsil, they've had kind of a hole on their offensive line, and this guy is a pretty big athletic stud.
Yep.
And I think you plug him in. I mean, I don't know if Tua is the guy there going forward, considering
apparently
how hard they tried to trade him.
If they're going to trade away from number 3.
Well, right. But they tried to include Tua in a trade to Houston to get Desean Watson. So,
of course,
to me, they're clearly not sold on Tua. But I think they couldn't pass up the offer to trade out of number 3. Now, it's very possible here that they draft the offensive lineman and then they draft a quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round, Kyle Trask. And then they take that guy and he competes for the starting job. So that's something I see them doing later on in the draft, is going after a quarterback that is capable and could compete.
I really think, first and foremost, I don't think they dislike Tua. I think because of the fact that they tried to put him into a trade for Desean Watson, it only makes sense because of the fact that you're telling Houston, hey, here's a young quarterback plus all these draft picks that we took from you before. That makes sense. But because of the fact that Tua wasn't involved in the pick with number 3, first, them trading out of number 3 shows that they're not looking for another quarterback unless it can be somebody who's already established like Desean Watson. Them staying at 17, right?
Who are we talking about? Miami? 18?
Yeah, Miami.
Yeah, 18.
18. With them staying at 18 and not moving anywhere else, I think that's a strong sign that they're going to go ahead and stay with Tua. They've got Brissett right behind them, so they've got a veteran that's teaching him, kind of like what Ryan Fitzpatrick was doing last year. But I could definitely see they've put their foot in the ground and said, okay, Tua, we're going to ride with you. Now let's start protecting them. So now, like you said, they go ahead and pick up a left tackle to give better protection to him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I've said before, I feel like if you don't have a good offensive line, you don't really have a good offense. So I feel like, yeah, they can draft a left tackle. I don't know if that's necessarily like a vote of confidence for Tua, but I mean, it's definitely better than, hey, at 18, we're drafting a quarterback. So,
right.
I mean, I can see your point. I just feel like that just because they draft a left tackle doesn't necessarily take them out of, you know, not trading Tua. I think they still could trade Tua. I don't think it'll be before the draft. I honestly don't think it'll be before the season. I think they're going to give him one more season just to see what happens. But I feel like it showed last year that they lacked a lot of confidence in him because when the going got tough, they put in Fitzmagic. And so Fitzmagic actually helped that team win 4 or 5 games, you know, because Tua just couldn't.
Something incredible. Unbeatable cleaning.
Uh-oh. You cleaning stuff over there?
No,
ESPN. Yeah, they always got to play those ads, and then they hide them like on the page, so you have to go find like the speaker to turn it off.
So, yeah, I want to say they either get protection or somebody we haven't talked about is Najee Harris. They could go running back.
Well, yeah, I have Najee Harris going later on in the draft, because I just don't think. I mean, I kind of feel like in today's world, you're not drafting a running back in the first round unless it's like otherworldly talent, where you feel like you just have to have that guy. So I mean, that's where I'm at with him. I don't even have him in the first round.
19, we got the football team of Washington.
Yeah, I have them drafting Christian Darrisaw from Virginia Tech, another offensive tackle. That's another place that doesn't have a solidified offensive line or quarterback situation. But I feel like, once again, you need to start with the foundation before you start building, you know, your franchise quarterback. It's going to be a hell of a lot easier to put a franchise quarterback behind a stacked offensive line than it is to try to draft a quarterback, draft a quarterback and then try to stack an offensive line around him after he's hurt. So,
and the past 5 years, they've gone nothing but defense, and it has shown. They have the front line for the defense is just spectacular.
Yeah, the football team, they might surprise some people. If they can get this quarterback situation right, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with, especially when they're the reigning NFC East champions at 7-9, right? So they really don't even have to improve that much as far as winning more games, and they could still be the division champion, and we'll see you in the playoffs.
I think we will see them as division champions this upcoming season. That defense is just amazing.
The defense is great. I have a hard time with that because they don't have a quarterback.
True.
So, I mean, the McLaurin wide receiver is amazing, considering that he did all the stuff that he's done the last 2 seasons with like shitty quarterbacks.
True.
So that's the cool part. But I mean, let's be honest, you can't just have shitty quarterbacks out there and win Super Bowls. That just doesn't happen. Well, I mean, it's happened a few times, but it's been with like world-class defenses. I don't think that this
I was about to
defense.
say, do you remember a gentleman by the name of Joe Flacco?
Well, yeah, I do. But actually, Joe Flacco played pretty well that season. I was going to go for more of like Brad Johnson or Trent Dilfer.
Yes.
Or, I mean, really even Peyton Manning when he was with the Broncos.
Washington doesn't really have that big of a scrub at quarterback this year with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean,
yeah, I mean, so, and that's the thing, right? Like, I really like Ryan Fitzpatrick. I really like him. He's got swag. He's got, presence. He knows what he's doing. I think he played for every fucking team in the league. So, I mean, he does have that under his belt too.
He almost has the whole gauntlet of jerseys.
Right. So, I mean, like, I like him, but there's a reason why this is his, 71st NFL team. So, I mean, he's not an everyday starter. He's a very smart person to have. Like when he retires, I'd want him as my offensive coordinator.
Right.
But I mean, or at least as my quarterbacks coach. But
I could see him being a GM.
I mean, maybe. I don't want him to be my starter because I feel like if he's my starter, there's a problem.
He's a good like Flex Seal tape.
Yeah, like a stop,
putting it over
the
hole just to stop the leakage for now until you can find a replacement. The team is going to, again, that's a weak division. I think he is going to, I mean, pretty much do the same thing they did last year. I still see them winning the division with him. So I don't know, but I guess going O-line to give Gibson more holes to run through, giggity. I don't know, man. That's a tough one because if they go defense again, that's still going to be scary because now they're just making it that much stronger. They don't really need more wide receivers.
I mean, it would be nice to have a wide receiver, but I feel like in this spot, it's not like you can get a better value in the wide receiver in the second round.
Right. I'll go O-line with you on that. Let's wrap it up at number 20. I know there's still more picks after that, but due to time, we're going to hit Chicago sitting at 20, which we've already heard rumors of them trading up. But sticking to the script, Chicago at 20. What you got?
Well, I mean, I'm looking through my draft book here, and I can't find who I have them drafting. Hold on. I was looking the whole time because I couldn't find it. So, uno momento. Where the hell did it go?
While you're looking at that, I'll give my 2 cents for what it's worth. I mean, we broke down their offense for the most part. I think their offensive weapons are pretty good for what they have. Quarterback is completely horrible. That's going to be a huge struggle for them. Their defense, I mean, you got Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith over there. They're not people to take lightly. Desmond Trufant is a great cornerback, in my opinion. He's not an elite cornerback, but he's pretty damn good.
Desmond Trufant?
Yeah. What did I say? Trufant?
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm illiterate. Jalen Johnson, I really don't know enough about him, but Eddie Jackson, we saw some flashes from him last year, if I remember correctly. So, I don't know. Roll the dice. Defense. I don't know.
Well, so that's okay. I couldn't find him on my sheet for some reason, but I have them drafting a cornerback, Greg Newsome II, out of Northwestern.
Oh wow.
I feel like they lost the cornerback when he excuse me, when he signed with the Broncos, and they released him, right? But they released him due to salary cap issues. So now they'll be able to replace him with a younger, cheaper option. He won't be as good, right? But still a pretty decent player. Highly touted out of Northwestern. He's 6'1", 190 pounds. So he's tall, he's long, he's kind of fast. I have him ranked as my fourth cornerback, sorry. So it's not too far of a stretch, too far of a reach. but I feel like the other 3 that are above him will be gone already.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I feel like that is a hole for them. So that's where I'm going with number 20.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm going to go ahead and retract my statement because I don't know what I was thinking about with Desmond.
That's Green Bay, right?
No, he was with Detroit last year, and I'm just looking at the stats again on him, and he's nothing spectacular. He played for many years in Atlanta, and then last year he was on a 1-year deal with Detroit, and Chicago picked him up this offseason. Yeah, I'll ride with you on that because after looking at Desmond's stats, first off, I'm an idiot, and second of all,
I mean, we all make mistakes. I mean, this is only our first podcast, so no big deal.
Right.
But, no, I feel like the hole that's left from Kyle Fuller, it just makes sense that they would draft somebody that, because I feel like that's a complete need for that team.
Yeah.
So that's 11 through 20. So that's not too bad.
No. And let's go ahead and who do you think is going to be the biggest shock?
The biggest shock in the first round?
Yep.
Let's see. I think Mac Jones being drafted by Tampa Bay at 32. That's what I think will be the biggest shock.
If he falls all the way to 32, that will be.
Well, and he's going to be at the draft.
Yeah.
He has like his own little cubicle with his family and all that stuff. It's all decked out.
I think
he is going to be this year's Aaron Rodgers. Not like he won't be Aaron Rodgers when he gets in the NFL. I mean, he'll be draft day Aaron Rodgers where he thought he was going to get drafted in the top 10 and he falls all the way to the last part of the first round. So
I can see him giving a comment like Dwayne Haskins did or Josh Rosen did as far as, you're going to pass me up. You're going to regret it. Yeah.
I agree.
I don't know. I want to say, and I'm going to go with the rumor mill. I'm going to say the biggest shock is the Texans get a first-round draft pick.
I think that's wishful thinking on your part, but could happen.
So to touch on the Desean Watson thing real quick, we've gone about a week or so without any new news. So experts are saying that because we haven't heard anything, settlements are in the process.
Okay.
If that's the case, if teams that still want him get word that, we're settling, a major trade is going to be done during the draft where Desean goes to another team and the Texans get a first-round draft pick. That's my...
I mean, so who do you think it'll be? Because, I mean, I'm just looking at the draft board. I don't know. I don't know who I think it would be.
I'm going to say it goes to Carolina.
Okay.
And where's Carolina sitting at in the draft?
Number 8.
Number 8. So let's say in that they get first-round picks and Sam Darnold. They're probably still going to go with another quarterback. If they don't go with a quarterback, they're going to take a wide receiver. The Texans, that is.
Well, I feel like if you trade Desean Watson to Carolina, then I feel like they draft Justin Fields at number 8.
Yep.
That's what I feel like.
And
I think that's a hell of a pick.
As a fan, too, I feel really bad for any new quarterback that comes to Houston because they already see the shit show that's been with Desean Watson and how they've treated him. Maybe Cal and Jack Easterby will learn their lesson and be like, okay, we're not going to start promising shit.
You just used Cal and Easterby in the same sentence as learning. That's not happening.
Yeah, I think I just made the audience that much dumber on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, Cal's a freaking idiot.
Right. His dad is rolling over in his grave.
And then Jack Easterby has like the stranglehold of all God Thor on Cal's nutsack. And so, I mean, he's already proven he knows nothing about football.
True, but Nick Caserio, I think so far has done a decent job as a GM, and I think he has managed it to where the relationship that he has with Easterby, he has gotten it to where Easterby is letting him do his thing.
I hope so.
If Caserio can pull off a trade like this today, that'll be magical.
I mean, for most of our fan base, I hope that the Texans are able to do something because I would just be honest, like, I'm not a Texan fan, whatever, But football season's more fun when the Texans aren't going 4-12.
Exactly.
Right. And for the most part, it's better when both teams in Texas are at least 500.
Right. It gives good arguments at parties or online or something like that.
Yeah, and everybody's at least energized to talk about their sport, right? Because like most Cowboy fans, they go away and hide by Thanksgiving, right?
But that one game they win, they come out and they're like, "Oh wait, we're back in this."
Right. But same thing with Texan fans. Most Texan fans, they lose interest at the beginning of the season, and then all of a sudden, like the Texans start out 0-4, and it's like, "Oh God, here we go." And then by Thanksgiving, they're 4-4 again. And then y'all are like, "Hey, we're going to the playoffs." And then they lose every game after that. So, it's much better and it's more fun when the Cowboys and Texans are relevant just because of where we live.
Yep.
But
so,
I mean,
that's my
I don't
pick.
want to see teams lose forever. But I really hope that Desean Watson can come out on the other side of this unscathed. I hope he really wasn't a sleaze bag.
Don't get me wrong. I would love for him to stay in Houston. I mean, that's a great talent right there that I would be – this is the first time they've had an actual real quarterback. But if he wanted to throw his ding-ding on people, well, that's his business.
Right, and that's my thing. I feel like if he really did it, I don't want to see him play in the league again.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another episode. Don't forget, we are going to be on social media tonight. I might even be on TikTok just – talking all kinds of shit about whatever's going on with the draft. But there will be updates on Facebook and Twitter as of right now from both of us. Please give us your opinions as where we're at on the draft. Those of y'all who are watching us on YouTube, I need y'all to send some love to Zach over there. Super dapper, wearing his orange and blue. I'm pretty jealous, man.
Oh,
I need a mop over here. I'm about to call the plumber right now.
Full disclosure, I don't have pants on.
I never wear pants during these shows. So Thank you again. Find us on social media. Follow us, like us. We've also got something going on right now on Facebook. If you follow the rules on there, on May 5th, we're going to announce a winner and give out some free merch.
Yeah, I'll have a like an image or a prototype type shirt for what we're going to give away coming up in a couple episodes. But you'll probably, if you win, you'll probably have the third or fourth 2 Wannabe Athletes Talk Sports t-shirts. Like, obviously we get the first 2.
Absolutely.
But I'm sure there'll be one that like we probably don't like. So it'll probably be like number 4, number 5. So
hey, we can go ahead and autograph it for them too.
Hey, you know what? If you want us to, we can do that. I have a Sharpie.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of 2 Wannabe Athletes Talk Sports. I'm Ed.
I'm Zach.
And we're out on
Go, bitch.